Jocko, I'm extremely driven and have high expectations for myself and my team. It appears that now I may have pushed them too hard. And they're developing negative attitudes. I feel like you're going to say play the game and develop relationships with them. But should I really just ignore who I am? Should I try to be someone different than myself?
Yeah, well, you called it, question person. Whoever asked this question, you called it. That's exactly what I'm going to say. I'm going to say you need to play the game. Look at what your current path has done. Look at what the real you, look what it's done. The real you has created a negative attitude with all your team. Mm-hmm. That's the real you. So is that what you want to perpetuate? Creating negative attitudes with your team? And by the way, they're just getting started. Mm-hmm. And if you think you're going to keep acting the same way and the negative attitudes are going to somehow miraculously turn positive, that's not happening. They're going to get more negative.
Yeah.
So when people have negative attitudes, I saw somebody quoted this the other day on social medias, on Twitter. Someone, no, the quote was like, no, it's not my fault when my subordinates have a bad attitude or something like that. And about a bunch of people responded, like, you should read the book Extreme Ownership. Because it absolutely is your fault. Yeah. It is your fault. If your team has a bad attitude, it's your fault. You're the leader. You own the attitude. If their attitude is bad, then it's actually your fault. Now, this is not to say that you can't have a bad apple on the team. That's completely possible. And who's responsible for getting rid of the bad apples? You are. You're the boss. Because the fact of the matter is, you might have a bad apple on your team. You might even have 2 bad apples on your team. You don't have 14 bad apples on the team. When you have 14 apples on the team, guess who the problem is? It's you. So here's what you do. A little tactical advice. Try and get some perspective from them. Try and understand where they're coming from, what challenges they face, what's pulling them off track. And when you do this, you kind of take ownership of it in your approach. So you say, hey guys, I realize I don't think I'm really seeing things from your point of view. And I need to, because I'm here to support you. And without you performing well, then we fail. So I think I need to do a better job of supporting you. And I can only do that if I know what your issues are, so I can do my best to get them fixed. So what can I do better to help you? Right. So now they're going to start telling you, there's this problem and there's that problem. And then what you do is you listen to their problems. You actually listen to their problems. You don't say, hey, quit complaining. Sure. No, you actually listen to their problems, and then you actually see what you can do to mitigate their issues. And as you do that, guess what's happening? You're actually forming a bond. You're actually forming into a team, because you're working together to solve issues. Again, it sounds really simple, right? But clearly, here's someone asking this question. Now, again, like if you have some members of the team that are actual negative, complaining whiners, then you might have to get rid of them. And that's part of being a leader, is knowing when you have to get rid of someone. Sometimes people, they take the extreme ownership attitude and they say, you know what? I'm the leader. I own everything. I'm extreme ownership. And if someone's not performing well, then that's my fault.
Yeah.
That's my fault. I need to coach them more. It's my fault that my team member is not doing well. And that's correct. It is your fault. It's your responsibility to train them, coach them, mentor them, and do whatever else you can do to fix them. But at the end of the day, if they still are not competent at their task and you've done everything you can, you're responsible to get rid of them. That is also a part of ownership. So, yeah, like I'll have someone complaining that they've got, one of my team leaders, like they're talking about their subordinate team leaders. This guy's, he's just a bad leader. Oh, why is he still here?
Yeah.
Your team, that team isn't doing well because they have a bad leader. Whose fault is that? Well, it's the leader's fault. No, it's your fault. You're in charge of the leader.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So, back to the original question, your whatever you called it, who you actually are is not working well. He probably is thinking he's a Steve Jobs type. Hey, we got to do this.
Yeah.
But it's not working. And he's not in a unicorn business model that's still making a ton of money regardless. So what does he have to do? Play the game, build the relationships, see the perspective of your team so that you can actually form a team.
Yeah.
Be a better leader. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's interesting. What they call framing. You frame something a certain way to make it kind of sound a certain way, whatever. So he said, extremely driven and have high expectations for myself and my team. It appears that now I may have pushed them too hard and they're developing negative attitudes. So being extremely driven and having high expectations doesn't equal driving them too hard so they develop negative attitude. Those are two different things. You can still be extreme. So
you can absolutely have extremely high expectations. You can be driving extremely hard and you can still have an incredibly positive attitude with your team.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Good point.
So, and then it gets equated into that's just who I am. So he just kind of put it all into one ball, and without one, there's no other kind of situation. It's just not how it is.
No.
So apparently you might be committed. He might be committed to being all of these things, and that's who I am, and that's kind of it, kind of thing. And I think that's like the mistake plenty of people make. We say this a lot where people be like, hey, I'm just straightforward, take it or leave it kind of thing, and be like, okay, but you're going to, in your case, lose, in your situation.
That's the big piece, is that in their case, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. If you're so driven and you have such high expectations that you want to win so bad, but the way you're performing as a human being and as a leader is going to make you lose, then what are you supposed to do? You change the way you behave. You become a better leader.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yes, sir. So you take, and this is total speculation on my part, but you keep, so this equation that we're presented with, being extremely driven, keep that. High expectations, keep that. Pushing your team hard, keep that. I would say too hard, and that's going to be a judgment call from day to day for sure. But there's a part in here that's more implied that you're being an asshole. Somewhere in here, you're being an asshole. How about you take out that part, take out the being the asshole part, and then keep everything else. Just see how that goes.
Yeah.
Because you kind of know when you're being a dick. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're like not being honest with yourself.
There's some people that don't. There's some people that don't get it. There's some people that don't get it.
Oh, right. Because it's like, how like when you don't, some people, they just can't step outside of themselves and be like, hey, if you said that to me, I wouldn't care kind of thing. And be like, bro, bruh, you're not me and I'm not you kind of thing. Yeah, you're right.
They can't detach. Yeah. There's absolutely people that don't know.
Yeah.
They're socially incapable of receiving clues, social clues from people, social cues from people.
Yeah.
They don't see the look in their face when they're talking to them.
Yeah, that's true. I'm thinking of like 3 examples right now. Dang.
There's all kinds of examples.
Yeah, also that would go back to what you're saying, how you say get input from them. You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of, So you can do it, man. It's a solvable problem.
Oh, this is a very solvable problem. And I've seen people solve this problem. I've helped people solve this exact problem. And the weird thing is they think, and it's part ego, but it's also part their own person. They think they're doing a great thing. Like they think that they're driving they're everything that they're doing in their mind, they're just awesome for pushing so hard. It's just the way I am and all that stuff. And they think it's awesome. But again, if you want to win so bad, then you have to play the game. You won't win by abusing people. Yeah. You won't win with a team anyways. Yeah. You won't. It won't happen.
Yeah. It's no use being the best dancer if you're not invited on the dance floor. One of those.
I'll leave that one with you.
Yeah. No worries. All right, cool. Next question. Actually, that problem is so solvable that this is possible, where you could just show just that much more, I don't know, caring or respect, just that much, and do it for like 2 weeks. Yeah. Just the idea just the fact that you're doing it now, people will be like, hey, wait, he's showing a little bit more.
Here's the thing. If a person has an ego, which this person could very well have a big ego, because that's why they have these high expectations, and that's why they're so driven, because if they have that kind of ego, that's the person that you can't help. Because they just look at the team and say, those guys should be harder workers.
Yeah.
Those guys aren't working as hard as me. They're not as focused as I am.
Yeah.
They don't care as much as I do. So everyone else on the team has a problem.
Yeah.
But I'm perfect. And you can't, look at how driven I am. Look at how focused I am. Look at how high my expectations are of myself. But if you can't, here's another thing. If your team cannot relate to your expectations, like they don't even see them as realistic or achievable or anything, what good are your expectations?
Yeah.
What good are they? They're not any good.
No good.
They don't make any sense.
That makes sense. It's true. Next question.